Welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett. We've got an unboxing of the latest Dice Masters starter set. This is Faerun Under Siege. Now, Dice Masters is a dice game that you draft your dice, you build your force, and you go attack your opponent, hopefully bringing him down to 0 life. It's kind of a mix of a deck builder game along with Magic. Take the two together, and I think you've got Dice Masters. Starter set's the best way to start playing the game, in my opinion. Now, there's whole bunch of different starter sets, as there's a whole bunch of different themes out there. This is the latest, the second set based off of Dungeons & Dragons. There's also sets like for Justice League, DC Comics, War of Light would be one, and then there's Age of Ultron, there's Uncanny X-Men for Marvel. There's Yu-Gi-Oh! Out there, just a whole bunch of different sets for you to start playing with. So we're going to crack this open and show it off. Now, the thing that's great about the starter set is it literally has everything you need to start. Hence the name. Googie how that works. So if you've never really played the game or want to get going into playing the game or start collecting the set, I really think the starter set's a great way to begin with that. I always get the starter sets because there are always cards that you can't get anywhere else. First, you get your rule book, always good. The thing that is good about this is there's usually some new rules per each set, maybe stuff you haven't seen before. Dungeons & Dragons is maybe a little bit different at times than the rest of the sets that are out there. There's a little bit of rules that are kind of unique to these sets. So always good to check this out and learn what is up. So let's see what we get inside. Of course, we get the dice themselves. So action dice. We get some cool ones. I actually think this is a little bit different. This looks like the design's a little bit different on that one. I could be wrong. But for colors, we get kind of a gold, yellow, a pink, blue for action dice, and a gray for action dice. And then like your regular dice that you use. Nothing special. It's all white. But these dice are key. They're kind of the basic dice that you need for the game. There's more than enough for you to play with 2 players, which is, again, I think something that's really, really solid about the starter set. Is the fact is it's more than enough for 2 players to get going. There is bags for you to go. You need to put your dice somewhere so you can choose them. Thing that's really kind of cool is Wizkids has been putting in much nicer bags. They used to just be blue and red. Instead, we've got, on this side, it says Faerun Under Siege, and we got this really cool, I'm pretty sure that's Drizzt fighting, looks like a troll. It's pretty sweet art, if you ask me. That's kind of badass. The paper bags are pretty decent. They will fall apart at some point. You're going to want some more. Then we get this, like, sweet demon that's on there. Overall, really nice bags. I dig them. For the art alone, these are pretty awesome. Not going to lie. I'd probably get the set just for those bags, because that's pretty sweet art. And I'm not a fantasy fan, so that should say everything when I think about the art. Alright, so get your, of course, color cards so you can keep track of the action stuff that's going on. You get a nice little checklist as far as what is in the set. Let's go through the creatures. First up, we get this kind of green and brownish, greenish dye. That's for the Bronze Dragon. It's a minion dragon. There's 3 different versions. There's Bronze Dragon, there's a Minion Dragon, Princess Dragon, and Master Dragon. Reading them off, the Bronze Dragon's got a breath weapon. You can deal 1 damage. You pay 1 generic to deal 1 damage to your opponent and all their characters. Pretty big deal. We've got, so that's the breath weapon 1. Next we got anti-breath weapon X. When an opponent uses a breath weapon, you may pay an amount equal to the opponent's breath weapon cost to cancel the effect. If star, you can pay 1 less to use anti-breath weapon. Interesting. And then we've got for the Master Dragon, it's Breath Weapon 1, pay 1 to deal 1 mana damage to your opponent and all their things. While the Bronze Dragon is active, whenever an opponent uses a Breath Weapon, Bronze Dragon deals an equal amount of damage to that opponent and to each of their character dice. The dice on this one's 1, 3, 4, 1, 4, 6, 2, 5, 6. That's pretty badass for a creature. The Breath Weapon sounds to be a pretty impressive thing to throw out there. Next, we got a Cockatrice. Actually, pretty cool die. It's kind of got this purplish, yellowish thing going on. Got 3 different versions, as always. The starters, you get 3 different versions of the characters. It's 4, 4, and 5 is the cost. The dice is 0, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 5. First one, you get when fielded, KO target character die with purchase cost of 4 or less. While Cockatrice, for the other one is while Cockatrice is active, whenever an NPC is fielded, roll an unpurchased spell or basic action die. On a 2, KO the NPC, return the spell die afterwards. And then finally, when blocked, reroll target blocker blocking Cockatrice and KO it if it rolls an energy phase. Otherwise, it remains in play, blocking at its rolled level. As for 5, so that sounds pretty cool to me. Next, we've got the Glabrazoo. I've never even heard of this thing. So, cost on this one is a 4, 4, and a 5. The dice is 1, 3, 3, 2, 4, 4, 2, 5, 6. When Glabrazoo is active, your Fiend dice cost 1 less to purchase. When Glabrazoo is active, your Fiend dice cannot be damaged except by combat damage. Then while Glabrazoo is active, your opponent cannot target your Fiend dice with action dice. So, if you're playing a Fiend team, you're going to want to have the Glabrazoo. Next, we've got a Gnome Ranger. The Gnome Ranger, we got 4, 4, and 3. Experience, the dice is 0, 3, 1, 1, 4, 2, 2, 5, 3. Experience, when fielded, deal 2 damage to target character die. If you roll the star instead, deal 4 damage if you have 2 or more. This is the die. So, pretty much green and some white. Experience, I think, is something that's new. So let's check that out in the rulebook, because that is kind of a big deal. Next, experience, it says when fielded, draw a die from your bag and put it into your prep area. If you roll a star, if it is an NPC die, deal 2 damage to your target character die, And the 3 is while Gnome Ranger is active, your other attacking character dice get +1 attack at the end of turn. So let's go and find what the hell experience is, because that sounds like something that is new. Let's see here. We also got affiliations now. Good, neutral, evil. That's, I think, somewhat new. I don't remember that from the D&D set before. Oh, here we go. Experience. While a character die with experience is active, if you KO an opposing monster, as noted by the Black Monster Allegiance banner, during your turn, place 1 experience token on this character die's card at the end of your turn. Each experience token provides each of this card's dice with +1 attack and +1 defense at each level. Card can only gain 1 experience token per turn, unless otherwise stated. Multiple cards can each gain an experience token during the same turn. An opposing player who KOs their own monster will not generate experience tokens. Interesting. So basically we're getting leveling up for the D&D set, which is a fascinating thing. Alright, next up we get the Half-Elf Bard. Half-Elf Bard is 3, 4, 4. The cost, the dice is 0, 1, 3, 0, 2, 3, and 1, 3, 5. Very cheap creature, in other words. All have experience just like that, so we already read what experience is. And it says, when Half-elf bard blocks, draw a die and add it to your prep area. If it is an adventurer die, any character with experience, draw an additional die and add it as well. Pretty good. That could be a good one. Next experience is while half-elf bard is active, your other character dice of equal or lower level to your highest level. Half-elf bard is not affected by opposing character abilities. Then when half-elf bard attacks, each attacking character die gets +1 attack, +1 defense for each of your other different character dice. That could be huge. That one I could see playing out in most sets. I'm thinking the half-elf bard with a cost of 4 is pretty badass, if you ask me. Dice for that one is actually pretty nice. They're kind of like this grayish white ones. They're actually just nice dice in general. Alright, next we've got another fiend. This is the Hellhound Fiend. This seems to be a pretty basic creature looking at it. Dice are these orange ones with that symbol on it. As I said, this one's a pretty basic creature. The cost is 2, 3, and 3. The dice is 0, 2, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3. The level 2 doesn't do anything. The one that costs 3. When Hellhound attacks, deal 1 damage to target character or opponent. Not bad. Next is when Hellhound attacks, target character die cannot block this turn. That can actually be pretty helpful. So I could see both of those, especially if you were to go and take that bard that you get the +1 attack and defense and then roll in. It's not bad. So far there's 2 that are pretty handy cards. Next we get a Hill Giant. It's a minion giant. I don't remember giants being in the previous set, but I could be wrong. Costs are 2, 3, and 3. The dice is 1, 3, 2, 2, 4, 3, 3, 5, 4. And it's this brownish die. So the level 2, or the cost 2 one is nothing. Level 3, or the cost 3 one is has Overcrush, which deal damage in excess the blocker's defense to the opponent. The 3 is when Hill Giant attacks, he can only be blocked by 2 or more character dice. Not bad at a 5/4, so at least you can get some dice out of the way for a cost of 3. It's not a bad thing to tie up your opponent's dice. Apparently I forgot to show these off. Well, this is the Glabrazau Fiend Demon dice. They're orange. They kind of look like another. There's like 2 orange dice in it, which is weird. White Dragon, beautiful dice, see-through. And that's the art. Pretty awesome looking dice, if you ask me, and the art's sweet as well. Cost is 4, 5, and 5. White Dragon's Minion Dragon. The 4 is the dice. 1, 2, 4, 1, 4, 4, and 2, 6, 5. The Breath Weapon 1. Pay 1 to deal 1 damage to your opponents and all their characters. White Dragons get +1d while blocking. Next up for the Apprentice Dragon, his breath is the same. Level 1 character dice damaged by this breath weapon cannot block until end of turn. Then finally we get Breath Weapon 2, so you pay 2 to deal 2 damage to your opponent and all their characters. Good character dice damaged by this breath weapon cannot block until the end of turn unless your opponent pays 1. Overall, basically a bunch of ways to freeze your opponents and get them to not block. Overall, I'm noticing on the set there is a whole bunch of things as far as preventing your opponent from blocking and be able to do anything. So next we'll move to the basic action cards. We got Banishment is the first one up, cost of 2. The Banishment is put target character die from opponent's prep area into their used pile. Can be handy. Next we've got Barskin, a cost of 2. Target character die cannot be dealt damage until end of turn. If you roll 2 stars, choose 2 target character dice instead. The Global is pay a shield. Target character die gets +1 defense until end of turn. Not super helpful, but not horrible. Next we get Blink Transmutation, cost of 2. Use only after blockers are signed. Each of your blocked character dice deals 1 damage to the defending player in addition to normal damage. Global, you can pay 1 of the mask. Remove target attacking character die from the attack zone. It stays in the field zone. That could be useful. Especially, I would say, using that against your opponent. would be really useful. Next, cost of 3, Chainmail Armor. Equip, so you attach to a character. This one with an allegiance or style. Basically, you match the things. It looks like evil symbol. I can't quite see. Can't quite tell. So that's not very helpful. Yeah, it's an affiliation thing. I can't really read what the hell the affiliation is because it's really tiny. So I'm going to go with evil, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's... Yeah, it's a really tiny symbol, so I can't tell you what the hell it says. So you attach to a character with the same symbol, and a equipped character gets plus 4D and cannot be affected by opposing when fielded effects. This die counts as gear. This cannot be ignored. Cloud Kill, cost of 3. Deal 1 damage to each opposing character. Character dice that damage this effect cannot attack or block this turn unless the opponent pays 1. That one can actually be somewhat useful. Cost of 5. Delayed Blast Fireball. Continuous. On your opponent's turn, either when an attack is declared or the opponent skips the attack step, deal 4 damage to all opposing characters and move this die to the used pile. If you do 2 stars, it deals 6 instead. Cost of 5. It's pretty damaging card right there. Next we got the Flaming Sword of 4. Again, this has got a damn symbol that I can't freaking read. That's not very helpful, folks. Whatever. So the cost of 4 Flaming Sword is equipped, so you attach it to a character. Each equipped character gets plus 2 attack, plus 2 defense. Flaming Sword deals 1 damage to character dice blocking or blocked by the equipped character. This die counts as gear, cannot be ignored. Next we get Morden Keen's Sword. It's a base and action card. Cost of 4 is target character die gets plus XA and plus XD, where X is the number of NPC dice in your opponent's used pile when you use this die. It's also got a global. You pay 2 of the lightning bolts. You deal 1 damage to target character die of cost of 4. Cost of 5, we got Power Word Kill. KO target character die of level 2 or less. If you do 2 stars, KO target character die of any level instead. You can global, pay 2 fists, KO target level 1 character die that was dealt damage this turn. And finally, we got Shocking Grasp, basic action card. Deal 1 damage to the target character die. If that character is KO'd by this damage, you may put this die into your prep area. Cost of just 2. That one could be kind of fun to do. Overall, very interesting set. There's some nice items in there, some nice cards. I'm kind of digging. Yeah, I mean, I already can see a couple cards that will be probably part of one of my builds to come down the road. This has been the unboxing of the starter set for Faerun Under Siege. We're going to do the collector set unboxing, and then we're going to do a live. We're also going to do a live video of the Faerun Under Siege gravity feed here. As always, thanks for watching. This is Graphic Policy Television. You can catch us every single day at graphicpolicy.com. Of course, we're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, as always, thank you so much. Keep rolling those die and keep it geeky.